Nova Southeastern University, the 39th Annual Law Center Commencement, part of the 46th Annual University Commencement Exercises. Greetings. Trustees, President, and faculty of Nova Southeastern University bid you welcome to this joyous celebration for the conferral of degrees upon those whom the university honors for learning and diligence, and upon those whom the university charges to turn scholarships into service. Will the audience please rise and join the faculty and graduates in singing the Star-Spangled Banner? The words can be found in the front of the program.
Say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watch were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets ringing, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Please sit down. It is my honor and privilege to introduce to you Dr. Ralph Rogers, Provost and Executive Vice President for Academic Affairs. Dr. Rogers.
Thank you, Dr. Flores. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. We welcome all of you who have joined us to honor the members of the class of 2015. Several distinguished groups are seated on the platform today with the faculty. At this time, I would like to recognize the members of the Nova Southeastern University Board of Trustees who are with us today. Today's Grand Marshal, Trustee Dr. Sylvia Flores. Trustee Doug Don. Trustee Judge Melanie May. Will the members of the Law Center's Board of Governors also please rise and be recognized as I call your name? Judge Robert Diaz. Lorna Brown Burton. Jamie Venazio Boscom. Michael Greenberg. Judge Melanie May. And Beverly Vassell. I would also like to introduce John Guerin, the Dean of Shepard Broad Law Center. I would now like to introduce Dr. George Hamberry, President and Chief Executive Officer of Nova Southeastern University, and Mrs. Jacqueline Trevisano, Executive Vice President and Chief Operating Officer. Also assisting us today for the learning impaired is Mr. William Stanton and Ms. Jean Sediak from the Nationwide Interpreter Resource Incorporated. A university becomes great not because of buildings or athletic accomplishment, but because it develops an outstanding student body through the guidance of their faculty. Also sitting on the stage behind me today and in the first rows in front of the stage are the distinguished members of our faculty. To receive the deserved recognition of the graduates you have educated and inspired, as well as thanks for their families and friends, will my talented and dedicated colleagues please rise. Thank you. You may now be seated. To formally open these commencement exercises, I am privileged to ask President George L. Hamberry to come forward.
Thank you, Dr. Rogers. And thank you to the Board of Trustees, the Board of Governors of the Shepard Broad Law Center, Chief Judge Joseph Lewis Jr., and to all of the loved ones and friends of the graduates who've come to publicly witness the academic achievements of these fine, fine students. Welcome to NSU. This is the first commencement of the commencement season. We will have 11 commencements at NSU this season, awarding about 7,500 degrees. This is also the first year we've ever had all of the commencements in Taft University Center. And I think it's recognition of the fact that indeed NSU has a place for its graduates to be publicly recognized on its own campus instead of the BB&T Center that we've done for the last 17 years. So you are now starting a tradition at NSU. Thank you. But this is not about starting a tradition, and it's not just about the commencement season. It's about the 277 graduates who are sitting in front of me, and I know this is a moment that all of you have been looking forward to with unbridled anticipation. Many of you joined the NSU family right straight from NSU or from another undergraduate university throughout the nation. And some of you let life get in the way a little bit before you decided to come back. Some of you, and most of you, have been full-time, while some of you have been part-time, taking advantage of being a full-time professional and coming back in the evenings and taking a little longer to get that degree. I find it interesting that there's no age barrier in an effort to try to gain an academic degree. There is no, you're too old. And each year, I ask, who is the oldest graduate that we have in years? This year, of the total commencements, our oldest graduate is 63 years old. And the youngest graduate is in our undergraduate student is 19. But no matter your age, I'm sure all of you have made friends and downed more than the FDA allowed amount of Red Bull. But you've made friends that you'll have and cherish for your entire life. You all stand out in your own unique ways to make this an incomparable class, NSU's class of 2015. As a group, NSU's graduating class reaches around the globe. We not only have students, obviously, throughout Florida. We've got graduates coming from Alabama, Delaware, Michigan, Colorado, and countries as far away as Albania, Italy, Spain. This year's NSU's graduating class, including postgraduate degrees, are students who are representative of more than 45 nations around the globe. But every one of our graduates had one thing in common when they first came here. They had unlimited hope, but they had very little idea of what actually lay in store in their years ahead. Today, much things are different. You became part of the NSU community, and now, as you walk out of these doors, armed with your new degree, you continue to have unlimited hope, but you still have very little idea of what actually lies in store in your years ahead. You will find the combination of anticipation and uncertainty is a normal part of any significant transition in life. But while this notion may have been scary or intimidating when you first came to NSU, we feel you have now a foundation that will prepare you to meet those uncertainties and amazing possibilities of which you still cannot yet imagine. Graduates, I know it's expected of my generation, whose hair is a little lighter than your generation, to say to you, you just can't imagine the opportunities before you. But it's really true. It wasn't so long ago that you were starting out, yet no one thought, and no one could even conceive there would be such thing as an app, or that there would be such a thing as a professional blogger, or that we would have search engine optimization, or that we would be able to have a watch like Dick Tracy that could see thousands and thousands of miles away. None of those careers even existed. And 10 years ago, Steve Jobs thought he was going bankrupt. So you certainly never expect to be tweeting messages. And you may be tweeting messages right now. I'm sure some of you are doing exactly that, and you're probably surprised that I know how to pronounce tweet. Then there's even hashtag. We've got hashtag success. But it's hashtag NSU success. How about hashtag President Hanbury is awesome? Success is going to be your own. You will fill your own stories. You will discover your own adventures. Your promotions, your rewards, your accomplishments will be shared by the individuals who love you. We know that you are better prepared for any of those possibilities of that unknown. I am proud that NSU has helped you reach this point. Because you see, it's not what you don't know today to face tomorrow, but it's what you do know today to be able to invent and cope with what you don't know about tomorrow. The dean has informed me that 81 members of this class provided more than 20,000 hours of pro bono service. 20,000 hours. Now, I know each and every one of you, as new attorneys, want to put about $800 an hour to that hourly rate. Right. But the pro bono service is something that I think is part of our core values, community and giving back. And I commend this graduating class for such a noble effort to improve the quality of life of the individuals around you. So whatever path you choose, private practice or public service, I hope each of you will lead the example and always question the status quo. One of the underlying philosophies of NSU is that we owe the world questions. So get out there and ask what needs to be asked. Challenge what needs to be challenged, and leave a lasting legacy and a positive impact as you go and create that wake. I'm going to talk about two graduates right now that I'm extremely proud of. I know some of you personally. I hope I know all of you collectively. But there's one young lady that started out who wanted to be not only a lawyer, but she wanted to be a doctor as an undergraduate student and wanted to do multiple things. One of your own colleagues, Carissa Champion-Lipman, is doing exactly that. Carissa will be our first graduate in the history of NSU that will not only have 2 degrees simultaneously, but 3 degrees. She was admitted in the dual admission program, but in law and in medicine, and in her spare time, she will get her master's degree in public health. So this year, her JD, and hopefully she'll do well during the next year, because next year she will have completed all of the 4-year program in our College of Osteopathic Medicine to receive her medical degree, and she will also receive her master's in public health. So Carissa, congratulations. I think you've been And believe it or not, but you're probably not surprised, she was also recognized as Student of the Year and is engaged in student government. But all of you are outstanding. Even though I may not call your name, all of you have outstanding examples to lead. And as you think about leaders who have inspired you, I hope you will carry the kind of inspiration that you have acquired from your faculty, because you could not have reached this point without many leaders whose guidance kept you moving in the right direction. And in my mind, it wasn't the president, it was the faculty. So as the provost said earlier, I would like to take a moment for the faculty to stand and be recognized not only by the students, but of all of the guests, friends, and loved ones of this commencement. Faculty, please stand and be recognized. You see, the beauty of leadership is that leadership is by example. It's a language that anybody can speak. The key to showing leadership is doing what you're capable of and doing it better than anybody else. That's leadership by example. Success, in my mind, is the progressive realization of a worthy goal. Whatever that worthy goal, as long as you continue to persevere, that progressive realization of that worthy goal, you will be successful. No matter how much money you have, how many cars you have, the clothes you may wear or not wear, that progressive realization of a worthy goal will allow you to bravely say you've been successful. Speaking of inspiring leaders, another student here today who's graduating, who came along after life got in the way of a professional career, Miss Toni Pollard. After 26 years in the health insurance business, Toni retired. She began volunteering in several places. She found her true passion in child advocacy. And then, after hearing Professors Michael Dale and Tim Arcaro speak at an information session, she knew she wanted a law degree. That progressive realization of a worthy goal. Today, she's going to achieve that. She will soon be working for Equal Justice Works, funded by a grant by the Florida Bar Association and Greenberg Traurig, to help children obtain the health insurance they need to stay strong and become successful and productive adults. So would you say Toni is successful? Yes. And I'm sure Toni would surely testify you can't lead if you don't have some destination in mind, that worthy goal. Even Yogi Berra said, that great philosopher, if you don't know where you're going, you might wind up someplace else. You will know where you're going, but you won't find it on Google Maps. You're going to have to choose your destination and where you're going yourself. Whatever you do, I hope you set your bar high. And then I hope your aim is even higher than your reach. And then I hope you add 10% more to that aim. But always be persistent in seeing that progressive realization of that worthy goal and your professional dreams. So today is the public recognition of all the hard work that you've done in the last 3 years or 4 years, of working with the faculty, of doing pro bono work, of being engaged in clubs, of going to moot court, of participating in writings and journals. And it's all coming to fruition today. You didn't arrive someplace else. You arrived here. And it's time to focus on that new vision, that new worthy goal, because it's now time for you to go to areas that you probably never thought of before. From here, many of you will be heading out in entirely different directions. Your time as law students are ending, but I hope your time associated with NSU is not. And I hope you will continue with lifelong learning and being challenged. But one group that I hope you will never, ever forget, and always be thankful for those individuals who are sitting in the audience who came here today to publicly witness your achievements. They are your family, your loved ones, and your friends. Class of 2015, give recognition and thanks to them. You will now be joining about 167,000 other graduates at Nova Southeastern University. That's the size of those numbers who have joined, or you will join, their ranks since 1970. That was the first graduating class that NSU or Nova had. So this is indeed an interesting occasion. Your path will not always be that easy, but one thing that I hope you will always remember, and that is the admonitions that Shakespeare gave to Polonius in his words of advice to his son Laertes. This above all, to thine own self be true, and it must follow as the night the day. Thou canst not be false to any man. You see, no matter what accomplishment you have, or how successful of a big person you get, or how much wealth you may accumulate, if you don't have integrity, you have not been successful. And integrity is just like a mirror. Once it's shattered, it's extremely difficult, if not almost impossible, to restore. So I end these comments to you, to all of our graduates: keep your aim above your reach, be bold, be persistent, but most of all, maintain your integrity. So on behalf of the entire Board of Trustees and all of the individuals in this audience who gathered today, congratulations to the class of 2015. And now it's my pleasure to present to you your Dean, Dean John Guerin.
Thank you, Dr. Hanbury. President Hanbury, Provost Rogers, Judge Lewis, our graduate speakers, Ariel DeRay and Joanna Lardizabal, members of the Board of Trustees, the Law Center Board of Governors, faculty, friends and family of our graduates, and most important of all, graduates of the class of 2015, on behalf of the faculty and staff of the Law Center, I welcome you to this commencement ceremony as well and extend our sincere congratulations to the graduates and their families. It is a great privilege for me to be able to address you today. So congratulations, thank you. I must start out by saying that I am not alone in having the honor to serve as your dean. The 2015 NSU Law class received support from 3 deans, starting with Dean Athonia Steele, continuing with Dean Elena Langen, and finally concluding with me. So thank you to my colleagues. In many ways, you were also shaped by the team that went before us as well. So I also want to extend my thanks to Dean Joe Harbaugh, Associate Deans Gail Richmond and Leslie Clooney, along with our entire dedicated faculty and our committed staff, because it truly does take a village to raise a law student. As one of the greatest pleasures that a faculty member has is to learn from one's students. As someone new to NSU, I had much to learn. You met that challenge and you have taught me very, very well. My first step was to learn more about you. As you heard from the president, you entered NSU as a great class, embracing the welcoming, inclusive community that is NSU. You helped make this law school majority-minority, with African American, Latino, Asian, and international students making up the majority of who we are today. You have made us increasingly global, with you or your classmates coming from Italy and Spain as part of our academic partnerships, or by finding your way to Florida and then to NSU to pursue your legal studies. For many of you, frankly from all of you, but for many in particular, I have learned the skill of perseverance. Many of you joined us at NSU the hard way, proving yourself through ample, because our faculty and staff know that what makes a great lawyer isn't necessarily established on a multiple-choice admissions test. The majority of you worked with clients in clinics or field placement programs, and you heard Dr. Hanbury talk about the over 20,000 hours of pro bono service that were offered by 81 volunteers, which has received notice throughout the state. You published nationally recognized papers, including those on animal rights law or intellectual property law. You completed dual degrees. You inspired the legal community by your dedication. 71 of you has earned your Master's of Science in Health, Education, or Employment Law, while 287 students this year earned a JD. In fact, 22 of you have already passed the bar. So for the rest of you, I have also learned a great deal about leadership by mentoring and by partnering with members of this class. SBA President Lynn Roman, Law Review Editor-in-Chief Kyle Roberts, CELS President Joy Paggi, Moot Court Chief Justice Ryan Knight those are just a few of the leaders in our 36 student organizations who have spent time with me. And I appreciate the time you have taken for me and the time that you have taken for your classmates to make this such a great 3 or 4 year journey. And speaking of journeys, you have traveled. You took advantage of great opportunities in our 26 competition teams, going to exotic places like Buffalo, New York, or South Texas, as well as more common stops in New York, Chicago, and Washington, D.C. And as you traveled, you helped fill our new trophy cases in the atrium, which brought pride to yourself, to your class, and to all of NSU. Finally, you encouraged me to teach. Through our groundbreaking MS program, I've had the pleasure to be able to stay in the classroom this year. Admittedly, it was an online classroom, but still. I've been teaching federal privacy law at a time where the very notion of federal privacy is under international scrutiny and national review. So I look at my path to NSU, and like everyone on the podium and probably everyone in the audience, I can't help but want to share a bit of advice. I will try and limit myself to just one. And like President Hanbury, these are moments where one tends to look back. When I sat in a robe looking up at the platform a quarter of a century ago, I never imagined I would be in Florida, let alone a faculty member, and certainly not a dean. When I started practicing law, none of my graduating classmates had ever heard of this nascent technology we now know as the internet. And yet my work, my career, my scholarship for the past 2 decades is focused on how the internet and digital technology have reshaped communications, creativity, and privacy in the world around us. Think about the apps Dr. Hanbury talked about, the hashtags, the social media, the tweeting, the world that we live in. What does that mean for the future of law? What does the generation of technology that extends after that mean for the next generation of law? You will be practicing for the next 3 or 4 decades. Now, the values of professionalism, integrity, civility, diligence, those will remain unchanged throughout the remainder of this century and beyond. But the projects that you touch, the issues you face, may look nothing like the classroom exercises, the competitions, or our exam hypos. That is one of the great pleasures that we have in our profession. You today are ready for this future. The path that you'll be on has many turns, but our NSU community is with you. The NSU skills and knowledge have prepared you, and the NSU values will support you on this grand quest. As lawyers, we seek to help those around us achieve a more just and conflict-free society. We pursue justice. The means will change over time, but never our ends. Embrace the turns in the path, but hold true to our shared values as lawyers and members of the NSU community. I am so proud of you today. I have learned so much from you this past year, and I hope you cherish what you have learned from all of us, your faculty, your staff, your friends and family, and the entire NSU community. The path forward awaits. Congratulations. Next, in keeping with our University and Law Center traditions of active student involvement, we ask the Master's and JD graduates to each elect a student speaker for graduation. I am pleased at this time to present the JD student graduation speaker, Ariel Rebecca DeRay. Ariel is a South Florida native and a graduate of Piper High School. Prior to law school, soon. Prior to law school, she obtained her bachelor's degree with honors from the University of Florida in Gainesville. During her law school tenure, Ariel was an associate on the Nova Law Review, and she was a teaching assistant for the Lawyering Skills and Values, the law school's first-year legal research and writing course. She also had the privilege of interning with the Honorable Jeffrey Streitfeld in the Complex Business Division of the 17th Judicial Circuit. Ariel was first in her class going into her final semester of law school and has secured a postgraduate associate position with Arnstein and Lair in Fort Lauderdale. Now, I am very pleased to introduce Ariel Rebecca DeRay. Ariel.
I got up a little prematurely there. Sorry, guys, I'm a little anxious to talk to you all. Also, they introduced me with my full name, including the middle, so I hope I'm not in trouble for anything. But thank you, Dean Guerin, for the introduction. It's my pleasure to speak on behalf of the graduating class of 2015. Thank you especially to my peers for choosing me for this honor. And I have to say, I may not be a millionaire, well, correction, I may not be a millionaire yet, but I have to say, standing in the hallway while my classmates proceeded into their seats, the overwhelming support I felt was worth more than $1 million. So thank you to you all, and thank you to the faculty, staff, alumni, parents, friends, family, the distinguished guests for joining us on such a significant occasion. I think I speak for all the graduates when I say that none of us would be here today if it weren't for the love and support of all of you. A special thanks to my mom and dad. It's like you said, Dad, never strive for anything less than the best, right? I'm working on it. So you're all our biggest fans, and for that, you deserve a round of applause. I didn't always know that I wanted to be a lawyer. I wasn't really a 4 or 5-year-old that desired social justice, but I guess I could have seen the signs a little bit. At my preschool graduation, I refused to get off of the stage, so I had to be escorted off by the teachers. I guess I liked the limelight a little bit. In elementary school, every time a report card was sent home, it always read a message like, "Very intelligent daughter you have, but she really needs to work on being a little less talkative." Or, "Ariel always finishes her work with ample time, but she seems to find it necessary to bargain for more time on behalf of everyone else, and this causes disruption." I know what you're all thinking. Me, those of you that know me, Ariel DeRay, talkative? They must have had me confused with some other brilliant child. But I guess the traits really worked out for me in the end. And yes, I did report the first grade reprimands to the Florida bar. When in doubt, disclose. Right, Professor Brock-Yalarge? My first memory of law school was during orientation. Who could forget? Overwhelming few days. The infamous Oscar-winning documentary, or should I say thriller, that told the inspiring story of 10 random 1Ls who all managed to fail out of law school before completing their first year. After seeing that inspiring and statistically inaccurate film, most of us wondered, do I have what it takes? Am I in the right place? And it turns out we did, and I'm very proud of all of us for that. Another fond memory of the early years of law school was the 1L Dean's Cruise. This was at the end of orientation. It was our first opportunity to meet our professors, our peers, interact with everybody. You know what they say, first impressions, they're everything. So everyone was dressed to the nines, ready to go. Just our luck, it poured the entire time. In typical Florida fashion, literally monsoon for 3 straight hours. Nothing better than being drenched in the middle of the ocean with complete strangers. But it forced us to deal with inconvenience, annoyance, awkwardness, and bad hair, obstacles we would face daily for the next 3 years. So well played, Nova, well played. Now fast forward 3 years later, we're here, May 7th, 2015. Today marks a very important day in our lives, the day we graduate law school and become Juris Doctors. Equally as important, today is the day we say goodbye to expensive textbooks, our beloved flight deck happy hour spot, the Hunger Games-like pursuit of barrister's ball tickets, and most unfortunately, the 3LOL hashtag that we all love so dearly. Had to piggyback off of President Hanbury's joke. What will the real world be like? There's a lot of looming questions. A foreign, mysterious place where wearing sweatpants every day is no longer socially acceptable. So that's frightening. But all joking aside, the things that we leave behind as law school comes to a close are really incomparable to what we've gained and will carry with us from this point forward. Friendships, mentors, and experiences that we'll identify with forever. I personally will never forget my friends from Section 3 and how we collectively and painfully learned that the Supreme Court of New York, contrary to public belief, is not the highest court in the state. The Court of Appeals, in case anyone was wondering, still shocks me every time. Similarly, I won't forget the long weekends I spent editing with my colleagues on the Nova Law Review. As crazy as it sounds, I never thought I'd say this, but in retrospect, those final edit weekends were, for lack of a better word, fun. The quality of education that I've received at Nova is really unparalleled. Countless times I've approached professors for advice, both with academic matters and personal matters, and they've never steered me in the wrong direction, but always let me make my own decision, just gave me the advice I needed to get there. They also did a great job teaching us the black letter law, which can be taught, and our professors, they've done an excellent job educating us in that respect. However, it's incumbent upon us, as soon-to-be professionals, to master the most important subject of them all, and that's integrity. Spoiler alert, I did not copy President Hanbury's speech, nor did I copy Dean Guerin's, but they happen to have the same theme. I'm not referring to ethics per se or professional responsibility. We've all watched many Lincoln Lawyer and Legally Blonde clips, so we know the basics. No commingling funds, breaches of confidentiality, et cetera, et cetera. What I'm referring to is the ability to be a genuinely good person, to be honest, to be helpful and respectful to others. In the pursuit of your goals, you'll undoubtedly be extremely busy, especially in the beginning, making a name for yourself in the legal field while establishing yourself financially. And you'll definitely be tempted sometimes to cut corners and act in selfish ways that will advance your personal goals, but be a detriment to others. And I advise you, when you reach that dilemma, please keep the importance of integrity in mind and never step on others to reach your fullest potential. You don't need to because you're amazing on your own. Success is much more gratifying when you can be proud of the steps you've taken to get there. And success and integrity are not by any means mutually exclusive. I'm confident that we, the graduating class of 2015, possess the it factor, that rare ability to be successful in our careers while also maintaining our integrity and being the type of friend or colleague that anyone would love to have. And those that possess this ability are simply unstoppable. And when I look out into the audience in front of me, I see talented, ambitious, and might I add, very good-looking group of graduates who has the power to achieve boundless success in many arenas. Future professors, criminal defense attorneys, prosecutors, civil litigators, CEOs, family lawyers, lobbyists, you name it. But most importantly, I see friends. And after today, we'll all be lawyers, JDs, a culmination of 20-plus years, some of us more, of formal education. But first and foremost, we'll be people, friends, sisters, brothers, mothers, fathers, and it is so important that we don't lose sight of that. We should never sacrifice our integrity as people for our success as lawyers. With that said, congratulations to the graduating class of 2015. Good luck, and I wish you all great success. Now it's time to celebrate this outstanding accomplishment. Let the festivities begin.
Ariel, thank you so much for sharing those thoughts with us. I'm now pleased to present our master student graduation speaker, Joanna Lardizabal. Joanna is a graduate of the Master of Science in Health Law program. She was born and raised in Manila in the Philippines. She earned her Bachelor of Science at the University of the Philippines, Manila, and Palawan State University. In 2007, she immigrated to South Florida to be reunited with her family. Joanna is very active in the South Florida Filipino community, where she serves in the Filipino Apostolate of the Archdiocese of Miami and coordinates sporting events for the Philippine Basketball Association of South Florida. She has worked in the medical field as an office manager and compliance manager, and after graduating with her master's degree, she does plan to continue her studies and pursue a JD. I'm very pleased to introduce Joanna. Thank you so much.
President George Hanbury, Board of Trustees, Dean Guerin, faculty, staff, administration, family and friends, and Shepard Broad Law Center class of 2015, good afternoon. I am honored and humbled to be speaking to you today. 8 years ago, I was a young girl in the Philippines with my bachelor's degree, ready to face the professional world and start a new career, eager to be reunited with my family who were already living in South Florida. My migration halfway around the world into this country included professional and economic challenges, family and health hiccups, and a long and navigating a long immigration process that demanded a lot of patience, humility, and resilience. After obtaining my undergraduate degree, I always remembered having the desire to return to school in order to obtain a master-level degree as soon as my circumstances permitted. 2 years ago, my patience and resilience paid off. I found myself enrolling in the Nova Southeastern University Shepard Broad Law Center's Master of Science in Health Law program, not because I had to, but because I wanted to. My fellow graduates will understand me here. We enrolled into this graduate program not because we were required to, but because we wanted to. We chose to advance in our respective professional fields, to expand our opportunities for meaningful careers and rewarding careers. My graduate school experience has provided me with both the personal and professional growth I had hoped for. Working towards a degree isn't easy, is it? It requires determination and persistence, many sleepless nights, hours upon hours of reading cases, participating in discussion board posts, writing research papers, and of course, more studying. The Law Center's Master of Science curriculum reflects the university's core values of opportunity, diversity, and innovation. The program of study was a perfect fit. It facilitated deep understanding of legal concepts, issues, and research related to my professional life, while giving me the freedom and flexibility to maintain my professional life, my full-time job, and fulfill my responsibilities at home and in my community. I'm happy to have known and met classmates who came from different parts of the country: Texas, North Carolina, Washington, D.C., from Tallahassee to Fort Pierce, and even Fort Lauderdale to Miami and Miramar. I feel privileged to have worked with professionals from different walks of life. In my health law classes, we had registered nurses, physicians, pharmacists, risk managers, and insurance representatives, while in my other law classes, we had educators, researchers, librarians, and human resources personnel. So it was really a very exciting and enriching experience, not just for me, but for all of us. For some students, the halls of the university and their classrooms were their second home. For the online master's students, our laptops, tablets, webcams, and headsets were our lives. We all had our own love affair with Blackboard. We stuck with it through thick and thin, in good times and bad. We had our discussion boards, go-to-meeting live class sessions, and other collaboration tools. We had our cases from Westlaw, LexisNexis, and NSU's databases. We had our hypotheticals, as well as redacted real-life work experiences. Sometimes, we even had pets and children in the way, or other family members taking a peek during our online lectures. Sometimes we had to pray to the cable gods for a flawless internet connection. Whereas in my case, I'd be up at 4 o'clock in the morning while the whole house was still asleep and quiet, just so that I could take my quizzes in peace. Well, it was quite an adventure, and it was all worth it. Not only did we gain from our classes and academic work, but our master's programs allowed us to think critically towards our professions and how we can make an impact in our own fields and communities. They empowered us, gave us more confidence, and enabled us to have more meaningful interactions in our professional lives. Our graduate journey would not be possible without the hard work, cooperation, and support of certain people that I'd like to thank on behalf of the fellow graduates. Thank you to all our professors for imparting with us your knowledge and expertise, for being our role models, and for bringing out the best in us. Thank you, Dean Arcaro, for your leadership and for your dedication towards the Master of Science and Law programs. You were the first person we met during our online orientation, where you welcomed us into our respective programs, and you were also the main person ensuring our effective training and education. Thank you for your drive and energy. Thank you, Jennifer McIntyre, for all your emails, reminders, and special instructions, and for keeping us active and connected with the university. Thank you, Jen Birchfield, our coordinator for the online programs. Every online program student appreciates your commitment and hard work. Thank you for guiding us through every step of our graduate journey, for giving us that care and attention, constantly answering all our questions and dealing with our concerns, from the most serious to the most trivial. Thank you also, Tracy Timberlake, for assisting us these past weeks. Thank you to the entire Shepard Broad Law Center for embracing us and making us part of your institution. Of course, I would like to thank my family, who are all present here today. Thank you for not giving up on me, for using practically all of your resources to bring me here to the United States and stay here securely. Thank you for your unconditional love, care, and support, which motivate me every day and empower me to reach my goals. And my fellow graduates, I know that all of you have your own supporters to thank as well, so let us thank them right now. And to everyone present here today, on behalf of the graduate students of the Shepard Broad Law Center, I want to thank all of you for being here and sharing this very special moment with us. Finally, one of the most important things that I realized through graduate school is this: to make the experience worthwhile, it is ultimately up to each individual to make the most of your journey and make the most of the opportunities that come your way. So my fellow graduates, whatever your next step is, whether it's a promotion or a new job, a business venture, traveling around the world, or coming back for another degree, I leave with you a quote from Mark Twain, which is something my whole family is familiar with. 20 years from now, you will be more disappointed by the things that you did not do than the ones that you did do. So throw off the bowlines, sail away from the safe harbor, catch the trade winds in your sails, explore, dream, discover. Congratulations, class of 2015, and best wishes to all of you.
Thank you, Joanna. Now I'm honored to introduce the 2015 commencement speaker, Chief Judge Joseph Lewis. The Honorable Joseph Lewis, Jr. is Chief Judge, 1st District Court of Appeal. Judge Lewis earned his Bachelor of Science degree from University of Montana, and realized I grew up in Virginia, so from the University of Montana in 1974, and his law degree from Florida State University College of Law in 1977. He began his career as a public defender, serving in that capacity from 1978 through 1981. He then joined the Office of the Attorney General, working in many capacities, including serving as senior attorney of the General Civil Litigation Section, and later the Bureau Chief for the Employment Division of Civil Litigation. He was appointed the first District Court of Appeal in 2011 and elected Chief Judge in 2013 by his fellow judges. Judge Lewis has been deeply engaged in public service and work to improve the profession. With participation in programs too numerous to list, in recognition of his distinguished service record, Judge Lewis was awarded the Florida Bar Meritorious Public Service Award just prior to his elevation to the bench. Please welcome the Honorable Joseph Lewis, Jr.
Good afternoon, President Hansberry, Dean Garan, distinguished faculty and alumni, proud parents, family, friends, and graduates. Congratulations to the class of 2015. As President Hansberry was introducing me, he said I was a graduate of the University of Montana. What he didn't mention is that I was born and raised in Tallahassee, in North Florida. You're probably looking at me and wondering, how did he make it all the way out there to Montana? That's a long story, and I'll save that for our next time. But it's a pleasure to be back in Fort Lauderdale. As a young Assistant Attorney General, I litigated several cases here. While I was here, I always made it a point, time permitting, to drive down A1A near the beach to enjoy the beautiful views. I always found it to be a relaxing experience. Today, en route to give my speech, I drove down A1A. As I was driving, admiring the beach, I said to myself, what a beautiful day. A day that marks a new chapter in your lives, a day that you look back on with pride and fond memories, and a day that will lead you to what I hope is a career filled with not only hard work and long hours, but also personal satisfaction and confirmation that the law was the path you were meant to take in life. When Dean Garan first asked me to give the commencement address, I was a little apprehensive because this is such a special day for the graduates, and for me, that it was challenging to find the appropriate words for the occasion. As any good appellate judge would do, I turned to my staff for advice that they may have to inspire the graduates. My senior law clerk said, Judge, you have a very interesting background. Share your personal life stories with the graduates, which will inspire them on their journey ahead. My junior law clerk said, Judge, just speak from the heart. My judicial assistant said, Judge, kiss. Well, I said, first, what do you mean by kiss? She said, Judge, keep it short. I thank my staff for their suggestions. Today, I will try to follow their advice. I would attempt to keep it short, but as trial lawyers know, it is difficult for a former trial lawyer to keep it short. All kidding aside, I hope to provide you with some life advice, words of wisdom, lessons I've learned, some insight into what really matters, and ideas on how to be successful. Graduates, you're on a journey. Life is a journey. In my view, there's stages of your journey. Stage one of your journey, getting into law school. While hundreds of students applied for your spot in law school, you were selected, which is something you should always be proud of. Stage one of your journey has been successfully completed. Graduates, stage 2 of your journey, graduating from law school. Each of you started the journey and you never gave up. Each of you should be extremely proud of yourselves. Congratulations, graduates. You have successfully completed stage 2 of your journey. Stage 3 of your journey, taking the bar exam. Now, I understand some of you have already taken it and passed. For those who have not taken it yet, passing the bar examination is stage 3 of your journey, which is yet for those of you who have not taken and passed the bar exam to be completed. While it's been some time since I took the bar, I do remember, with not so fond memories, having to study as I had never studied before. I remember feeling as if literally my brain could hold no more information, that I had reached my storage capacity. So, don't be alarmed if you find studying and the actual exam to be a daunting task. Take comfort in the fact that most, if not all, of the other people in your shoes feel the same way. I'm confident that all of you will rise to the occasion and succeed yet again and accomplish another goal you have set for yourselves. Stage 4 of your journey. Stage 4 of your journey. Finding and following your passion. Let me repeat that. Finding and following your passion. In doing so, I challenge you to fulfill your full potential. Stage 4 of your journey is a work in progress. Life for lawyers and non-lawyers alike is a work in progress. While it will be quite helpful to have a neat and tidy roadmap for our lives, as you know, we are not handed one of those when we make our entry into this world. What is certain is that we are each born with talents and gifts, and we must each find our way in what we hope is the right direction. My sincere hope for all of you is that you will find the area of the law that excites you, that causes you to want to be the best lawyer or other type of professional you can be, that improves our society as a whole. With all of that said, graduates, today is graduation day. And graduation day means you are starting the transition to stage 3 of your journey, studying for the bar examination. And for many of you, it means a transition from 3 years of taking loans to 100 years of paying them back. It is common knowledge that this is not the best job market for graduates. However, the economy is improving. The practice of law is becoming more competitive with each new lawyer. Many of you have job offers, while others are still looking for a job. For those of you still looking, do not worry and fret. Just forge ahead, knowing that the job you are meant to do is out there. Abraham Lincoln once said, "I will prepare, and someday my chance will come." Graduates, these are good words to live by. NOVA has prepared you well. Opportunity will come. Be persistent. Don't give up. Remember, a fulfilled legal career is a journey and not a sprint. Not everyone graduating today will have a career as a lawyer. Some of you will find yourselves employed in the business world, possibly in the technology sector, others in education or philanthropy. My point is that the possibilities with a law degree are endless. You must find and follow your passion. Graduates, what is in your heart? Along your journey, you will encounter roadblocks, but you have to learn that there is a way around them. You must be persistent, as you can be, and never give up. Dr. Seuss, an often quoted author, once said, "You're off to great places. Today is your day. Your mountain is waiting, so get on your way." Each of you have a different mountain waiting for you. Your mountain will represent a big goal in your life that's going to take initiative, confidence, hard work, and persistence to accomplish. For me, after graduating from law school and passing the bar examination, my first job was as a legal research assistant with the Industrial Relations Commission. I took that job while I was in law school. One of the reasons I took that job was to hone my legal research and writing skills. Not that I was not a good legal writer, but I wanted it to be better. My next job was with the Public Defender's Office, where I gained valuable jury trial experience in the misdemeanor and felony divisions. From the PD's office, I went to the Attorney General's office, where I gained valuable civil jury trial experience in state and federal trial courts, as well as valuable appellate experience in state and federal appellate courts. That experience prepared me for a judgeship. Indeed, it was during that time that I was inspired to become a judge. I was litigating a case in the federal district court in Tampa before a visiting federal district court judge. It was an absolute pleasure litigating the case before that judge. And after the trial was over, the judge called counsel for the parties back to chambers just to chat over a cup of coffee. Graduates, can you imagine what that meant for a young assistant attorney general to be called back in chambers of a federal district court judge just to chat over a cup of coffee? During the conversation, I was impressed by how personable and accessible the judge was, by his life experiences and insightful words, and by how much he enjoyed being a judge. I came to see how being a judge can make a difference in people's lives and be enjoyable. That conversation made a lasting impression and inspired me to serve as a judge. Graduates, I hope my career can be an example for you and that hard work can lead to great accomplishment, and I hope you realize that having more experiences will help you become not only a well-rounded professional, but also a well-rounded person. Turning now to my advice for the graduates. My first piece of advice involves character and excelling at what you do. Don't just be a lawyer, be a good person. My first job in high school was as a dishwasher. Now I say that because I wasn't just a dishwasher. I was a good dishwasher. Every day before I left work, I made sure all the dishes were washed and put away, all the pots were scrubbed and hung, and the floor was mopped. When I finished, I would say to myself, wow, I did a good job. I took pride in my job. So, graduates, no matter what you find yourself doing in life, be the best that you can be. A solid work ethic will be the foundation of your career. I say to you, graduates, build on your good deeds. Make a choice. Build a career of public service to others. Remember the golden rule our parents taught us: do unto others as you will have them do unto you. Take it with you in your practice. Remember, if you treat your adversaries, clients, and colleagues with dignity, courtesy, and respect, you will be successful. Find someone you want to emulate. My point is that you need mentors. My mentor in college was a trial lawyer. When I arrived at the University of Montana, I had no idea what I wanted to be. Spending time with my mentor got me interested in becoming a lawyer. My mentor's home was my home away from home. I had an opportunity to attend hearings with him, meet his colleagues at his law firm, and have countless discussions with him on the law. I found someone that I wanted to emulate. If I hadn't met him, I probably would not have become interested in the law and become a lawyer. If you are in private practice, graduates, find a partner in your firm to serve as your mentor. If you are a government lawyer, find a senior attorney in government to serve as your mentor. The fact that you are part of this ceremony that means that you have taken on a responsibility above the rest of society. As a lawyer, you are an officer of the court. You will take an oath to uphold the Constitution. You will be bound by a strict code of ethics. And contrary to what some may think, you will become a member of a highly respected profession. Professionalism matters as a lawyer. Your most valuable asset is your reputation and respect of your colleagues. My second piece of advice involves competence. Hard work, in other words, work hard and keep walking the road. We never stop learning. Life is a continuing education. Stay current not only on your continuing legal education credits, but also the developments in the law. Graduates, read your Florida Law Weeklies. Be inquisitive. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Amass experience, because there is no substitute for experience. Graduates, work hard and keep walking the road, because hard work trumps talent every time. Get to work early before your boss gets there, and leave after the boss leaves, and not immediately afterwards. My third piece of advice is make a difference. Try selflessness and give back. Simply by having a law degree, you have a chance to make a difference in your community. For me, I have spent my entire career in public service, and I am committed to it. I realize, though, that a full career dedicated to public service is not in the cards for most people for financial reasons. But let me offer you a compromise, graduates. Over the course of your long and successful career in law, please find some time to serve the public and your community. Try selflessness and give back. Be a mentor. One of my greatest successes was mentoring at my elementary school on the south side of Tallahassee in a low-income community. I benefited from mentoring as much as the students did. One of the first things they would ask me upon introduction was, "You went to Bond Elementary?" I said, "Yes." Then they said, "You're a judge?" I said, "Yes." The kids would look and would say, "Wow, Judge Lewis went to Bond, and he is a judge." What was so amazing was to see the expressions of joy and excitement on their faces, which exemplified amazement and confidence. I know what the kids were thinking. Judge Lewis went to Bond, and he made it. I can make it too. My presence alone instills confidence and hope in the young kids. Graduates, you too can and will make a difference. Find a way to make a difference. Winston Churchill once gave a speech in which he said, "Never give in, never give in, never, never, never. In nothing great or small, large or petty, never give in except to convictions of honor and good sense. Never yield to force. Never yield to the apparently overwhelming might of the enemy. Graduates, never give up on your dream and follow your passion and never waver." Winston Churchill also once said, "We make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we give." Graduates, try selflessness and give back. In closing, thank you again for having me and for giving me this opportunity to share in your celebration today and to visit the beach. I give you my best wishes for a fruitful career, and I hope that you make a difference in the world. And so, class of 2015, congratulations and good luck.